but it's got power. So the purpose of this video, so you're thinking about buying an LR4. Let's elaborate. Howdy, welcome back to the Addicted Voters YouTube channel. I got a jump box. We're walking back behind the shop, and this is gonna be called a Rover Resurrection. First time we ever done it. Which one's it gonna be? Honestly, you might not guess. It's someone I really haven't done a whole lot of reviews on. And oh yeah, right there, sitting down low. Let's jump into these LR4s. Now I'm just assuming that the battery is dead. I could be wrong, but I do not think I'm wrong. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So let's do this the old-fashioned way, the Range Rover way. Now, this particular LR4 started a journey and a path for us. Oh, look at that. Got the right, a lot of the right coolant in there. When it came to understanding what the flaws of the Rover 5-liter V8 were. And this one was the first, I wouldn't say first victim, because we owned this and since sold it after performing the timing guides, chains, adjustments, all the while you're in there, while it was in our custody. Power. But it has since come back, unfortunately, due to something with the infotainment system. And after replacing the BCM, or whatever the heck they call the controller, the computers in this thing, it has resurfaced. And the issue, I think, is in the radio. There he goes. Wasn't pressing the brake enough. I'm sure that I've no gas, no nothing, hood open, dead battery. Yay! Let's see if this pumps itself up. Just what I wanted to do, put gas in a vehicle. Another one. Levante say. Up. So maybe I'm underselling it, but this actually isn't a bad car, truck, whatever you want to call it. Again, we did, almost $10,000 worth of engine work to it, as well as assortment of other things. I think put control arms and things like that on it as well. So, mechanically it's pretty good. I think it just has that issue with the BCM, which is kind of a bummer. So we're gonna breathe some life back in it, put some miles on it, drive around. I'll do some explanations and some reviews on the LR4 because I want to have one. I want one in the stable. It is the best Range Rover and the best Land Rover, but I just can't own a 5-liter. So let's talk about it. All right, so I got all the issues, all the warnings. I don't have air suspension. It says the fault. I'm gonna try my tried and true method of just jacking it up by the hitch and see if it gets it off the ground enough to trick it into pushing itself off the bump stop. So let's give it a shot. So I don't remember, this worked on my LR3. I don't remember if I have to actually turn the car on and off to get it off the bump stops or to trick it. Let's see if it fixes itself. Come on. All right, let's. Up. Raise, the light's on. Raise. Do it. Come on, man. Oh, it is coming up. I have tricked it. It's coming up ever so slowly. Man, it is not happy. This is starting this off great, guys. This is, just average. Just trying to get your truck to start. Just a lovely day as a Land Rover owner. Couldn't ask for a better sequence of events. Good as new. Perfect. I fixed it. That only took 45 minutes. Max, what do you think of the Rover? Do you like this one? Is this one fun to play with? Yeah? You wondering why the air suspension button's not illuminated and there's red lights on the dash? Is that what you're thinking? Nope. You're not bothered by it? Yeah, I'm not either. So, the purpose of this video, so you're thinking about buying an LR4. Let's elaborate. So, LR4 is the next generation of the Discovery. It came after the LR3, so that is 2009, 10, 11, 12. You get the LR4. The one you see behind me, I think it's 2011. It's a 5-liter Jaguar Land Rover Collab V8. It also came in the US spec with a 3-liter supercharged, which is the same engine, just minus 2 cylinders, same pretty much everything. They suffer from a lot of the same issues, and generally it's thought of as a decent engine. I have my own opinions on that though. And my opinions kind of originate from why and where we got this particular LR4. This was a cheap auction truck. It was a one owner, 170 some thousand miles, very little rust, seemingly well kept LR4. It was in great condition when we got it, minus a few major things, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. And it's one of the reasons why, before diving into the features and what I like about the LR4, I want to talk about the downside. It's the timing chains and guides and lack of maintenance on these trucks. A lot of owners are coming from an LR3, pretty bulletproof drivetrain. Not a lot of transmission issues if you change the fluid in the filter. Not a lot of engine issues if you keep everything on the up and up. There's no major service that needs to be done to it. But these are different. These have major services that need to be done to it. The timing guides, timing chain guides, they fail. They're plastic, they fail, just like the similar, X308 Jag, just like any other of this era type of car with timing chain related issues. W126 Mercedes, and go on and on. So many different manufacturers have timing guide failures, chain slap, stretch, whatever you want to call it. And this is just one of those engines that requires, an exorbitant amount of money to keep on the road. And someone might think that if you buy one of these at 150, 160, 170,000 miles, that, it's just a cheap used truck, and it's not. It is, but it's not. But it's not like an LR3 cheap and used. It's an LR4 with this 5-liter that's going to require, if you're not doing it yourself, between $5,000 and $10,000 worth of, motor work, which you can see. I have this exact truck, videos of it in the shop, with the entire top end of the engine taken off, doing the guides, water pump, chains. It's all done at the same time. So it's a lot of work, and that is something that most people don't realize when they see the nicer LR3 come up for cheap, for sale, 1 owner, 2 owner, good condition. Not always the case. But let's talk about what's good about this truck, though. It's not all bad. I like this truck better than the LR3. It is a better automobile. It is more comfortable. It has more features. It has more power. It has better brakes. It does everything better. I didn't say it has a better powertrain. I just said it's more powerful. And that's not every single truck, but I wouldn't buy one because I don't want to have to spend or have the thought in my head that keeps me up at night, knowing that I have that, $7,000 service hanging over my head on a truck that I spent 5, 6, 7, 8 grand on. The math doesn't work, especially because once that gets fixed, you still have to deal with the air suspension. You have to deal with, if it's not a clean truck, rust issues, electrical problems, sunroof leaks, all the little things that kill these trucks. And now I'm talking about negative things again. But I really want to try to stay positive because I really do like these. The visual cues, right? So slightly different grill. A lot of guys facelift them. They'll put this type of grill and light configuration onto the LR3. It can be done. I think these are 20-inch wheels. They look great. Slightly updated full length roof rail rack, body colored arches. You can tell 2009 LR3s because they kind of the same thing. Updated rear tail lights, super updated interior, much more comfortable. better materials to the touch. They fixed the cracked dash with a kind of a leathery dash. Again, different screen, higher resolution, traction management, just a more clean layout. And, I think that really made a difference and makes this feel less aged than the LR3. I'm not saying that the fact that the LR3 kind of feels aged is a bad thing. It definitely feels more utilitarian, a little bit more chunky. It feels, I wouldn't say less solid, because this drives very solid, especially on street tires. It's a different feel. It feels a little bit more refined, and I think that's very important when considering why people fall for these trucks, because they drive beautifully. It handles like a car. And I'm not saying the LR3 doesn't, but things are just tweaked a little bit. But alas, with this one, I've got a very dead battery. My charger isn't working, so we're gonna charge this up, clean it up, and try to get it out on the road. So I was trying to film a driving portion of this, but the battery just kept going dead flat, and then for some reason my trickle charger wasn't working with this truck, so I just had to borrow a trickle charger from a buddy. So I am out 9 o'clock, riding around doing Rover stuff. Just, this is why we do this, right? Look at all those lights. All right, so we're gonna finish this video mañana. Sleep type little Land Rover, not broken Land Rover. Just gonna leave that open. I don't trust it. Good morning, and it is the next morning. We'll find out how the patient did last night. And, well, that's not wonderful. There's a fault. So it doesn't look like we got a charge last night, so I gotta play with this again some more. All right, now while this kind of charges up, because that's all I can do right now, let's try to read the codes. And for that, I've got my new code reader. This is a Launch Reader Elite. I found it on Amazon. It was actually, I've been told to try it out because it has Land Rover specific OBD code reading capability. So let's diagnose, check it out, and see if this thing does what it's supposed to. And there you go, right there, Jaguar Land Rover. Pretty interesting. It is connected to Wi-Fi too, which I think it will probably help with some of the diag, especially because a lot of these manufacturer specific codes won't come up on your normal, AutoZone reader. I think this was about 120 bucks on Amazon. I'll leave a link below. So let's check it out. All right, let's automatically search, get the VIN, and read the codes. If you notice, it even shows battery readout, which it shouldn't, that shouldn't be a dead battery. So maybe there's something else going on here. All right, so we've got health report, system selection, special function, vehicle information. Let's run a health report. And yep, all the codes are coming up. Now remember, this car has an airbag sensor code. I've got a air suspension code, all types of stuff, not equipped. Oh look, no rear locker, nice. But again, it's really showing a lot of info that I kind of tempted doing some of my other cars. I don't have a check engine light, but I've got a lot of faults, so maybe I can reset some of this. Low fuel, and now the screen just, man, this thing's all over the place. All right, up and down circuit, ABS, transmission control module, SRS, I know that one. Body control, I'm sure that's even new. Ride level control monitoring system. So I'm sure I can do more with this. Let's clear these codes and see if they come back. I think a lot of them probably have to do with the low battery. You can also run tests on here, and I don't really have time to go through everything, but I want to do a little more of a deep dive on this tool because I actually like it. And for the price, I'm pretty impressed. And look, it actually gives you the option to run actuation tests. Which is pretty interesting. All right, so one thing I wanted to show you again on this tool, and I was just playing with it, is right now, yes, my terrain management system and everything is offline. There's something going on. I don't know how to properly use this tool, right? But let's say I want to test, let's say it was working, I want to test the raise switch, right? I change it from closed to open, closed, open, and I hit start, and it dings. I can't do it, but if the car was functioning properly, that would work. So this is pretty good. I'm pretty impressed. I'm going to play with this more so I can really understand, you know, how to properly use it. But so far, it's not bad to play with the systems within the Land Rover. I can't even make this up now. It's almost killed my jump box. I need to get another jump box. This is insane. What even is this? What's even happening here? How much juice do we need? Man. All right, so let's talk some more about living with an LR4, things to look for when you're buying it, and driving impressions. Let's start first with driving impressions. Now, I probably mentioned before, I think this truck and all LR4s drive very well. It's smooth, refined, very quiet. It's got a more than adequate amount of power from the 5-liter. The brakes feel tight. This one's had the control arms done, so the steering feels tight. It just feels, you know, just like a fairly modern vehicle. It's very maneuverable, great visibility, all that, everything that kind of comes along with, I guess, Land Rovers of the past. Interior fit and finish, it's very great. The seats are comfortable. You know, the air suspension works as far as how it absorbs shocks and bumps and whatnot in the road. You know, this is all normal stuff, but I just think it's just elevated over the LR3 in the drivability and driver comfort. Other things to look for, and things to avoid. Again, you want to make sure that it's had the major service done, which is the timing chains and guides. I would not buy one without documentation showing that it actually has been done. Receipts, what have you. There's a coolant crossover pipe that also needs to be done on these 5 liters, and then the rest of the normal Rover things that every one of these air suspension equipped this era Rover has. Other things to think about, right? So all the way up, I think the last year was 2015 or 16, 3-liter supercharged V6. A lot of those models, low range was an option. So I've talked to many people who have purchased a 3-liter equipped LR4 that did not realize that their truck, even though it has terrain response, did not come equipped with the low range gearbox or the option to have low range, which is incredibly unfortunate, and it's very odd that it was offered as such. You know, you think you're getting a Land Rover, you think you're getting a Disco, you think you have low range, and you don't. But, you know, other things to check for: any type of smoke coming out of the tailpipes when you start, any type of chain type rattle noise on startup. You want to check the front control arms upon hard braking and whatnot, make sure they're not moving around too much. And, you know, everything works, that the truck locks, so when you hit the lock button, all the locks actually work. Sorry, that's the license plate banging around back there. That it idles fine, that the radio works. You know, this truck has a lot more electronic functions than the LR4. And again, a lot of things that will go wrong. Parasitic battery drains, you know, little things like that. It's the nickel and dime little annoying things that if you can't fix yourself and have to bring to a dealership will absolutely sink you on these trucks. But it's got power. It definitely has power. Which, I mean, it just makes it so much better. You know, what it does, it brings you to about the same power output as the supercharged 4.2, which makes things adequate. But here you just don't have the lag. So it's, yeah, I can see why you drive one that's running properly and you slap that buy button. So, do I want an LR4? I think the LR4 is the perfect platform. I would, you know, if I could get an LR4 with a 4.2 supercharged V8 in it, that would be my money. Space, comfort, versatility, fit and finish, performance, I think that would be the move. But it has a 5-liter. And as a normal consumer with a budget, and the understanding there's other JLR products and other products out there that fit the bill that won't potentially cost me an additional, you know, 7 to 10 grand down the road, I couldn't recommend it. I think I have to stay with an LR3. It's simpler. The powertrain's just a little bit more functional, a little less finicky, and it doesn't have as many high dollar or very high dollar maintenance items for the average newer consumer that's getting into this unfortunate game of ownership lifestyle. So again, depending on who you are, right? I wouldn't say it is a 100% buy unless you know what you're getting into. And I don't want to say mechanically inclined. I'm saying you have to know how to do the timing chain job. If you're planning to keep it. If you're not, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But if little things bother you, you want things right, and you want something you can trust and have some long-term potential value, then that's my take on it. But I do think it is one of the best platforms that the company has put out. And again, these motor issues, they only come up over, you know, 80 to 140,000 miles, which is a lot of miles. It's not like this is happening at, you know, 20,000 miles, which it does happen. The superchargers on some of the other ones let go, supercharger couplers and stuff like that. But that's a whole nother conversation. Ooh, update. Look at that. I cleared the screen using the tool, and the air suspension test and the module's working. I can't remember which, oh, that was the transmission thing, so I'm just in here clearing these codes. And, oh, it's back. I think that might have just been a test, but I gotta play with this. This is good. This is good. So it looks like I've got terrain select back, but not air suspension. All right, so it looks like I cleared the airbag light, which is interesting. Again, that could be battery dependent. Let's turn it off, turn it back on. Service required. And my air suspension. No warnings yet. Interesting. Let's see if my air suspension works. It's going slow. but it's going. I don't want to wait all day. There's something going on there, but it's not terminal. It is working though, which is nice. Train response. Yeah, cool. All right, well, I wonder if that'll survive another couple trips. Yeah, so again, this was like 120 bucks. It seems like it's pretty useful. I'm about it. I just want to play with it more. I was able to clear, I mean, an airbag fault, transmission faults, everything that this was showing. So I think I would say this is a buy. Like I said, I'll link this below if you're interested, and we'll get back to the review. And right back on the charger. So that's my take on the LR4. I know that video kind of jumped around all over the place, but I think you're just experiencing what you have to sometimes go through when you own one of these trucks. Like I said, it's wonderful to drive. You just have to find the right one, and you have to be willing to handle all the quirks and kinks associated with it. If you find one that's in good mechanical condition with the right records, the right ownership history, and the right major corrective that has already been completed. So like any car, that rule doesn't just apply to Land Rovers, that applies to everything. They can just be slightly more quirky when it comes to you know, long-term ownership. But again, this is 190,000 miles on it. So I have been slightly unfair, but at the same time, it's just how the game's played. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all that awesome YouTube stuff. I did start to film a video with a road trip with the L322, but with the kid and everything else, it wasn't worth it. So have some more L322 content coming out. This thing's gonna hang out. We're gonna try to breathe some life back into it. The next thing that might be coming up video-wise is a very low mileage XJ8 Jag. So if you like Jags, hang around, share the rest of my videos. Catch you on the next one.